Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. With the name of Allah, who is very kind and merciful. Welcome to DevOps King channel. In this channel, you will find the solution of different tasks about the DevOps. Today is the final part of our series about the configuring Azure CICD for .NET Core API on a HUAWEI cloud. Today I shall explain how to configure the configuration file in the NGX for the front end, and moreover I shall also explain how to configure the Cloudflare. In order to get training for the Docker, Kubernetes, Terraform, Azure, Web CI/CD, please contact on this WhatsApp number. All videos on this channel are prepared by certified DevOps engineer. In order to search this channel on the YouTube, please use the word DevOps King. You will find the channel DevOps King. Please click the subscribe button so that you can get the notification about the latest upload on the channel. Today is the last part of this series, like configuring Azure CI/CD for .NET Core 8 API on the HUAWEI cloud with Dockers, part 7. First of all, as we are configuring the file for the front end in the NGX, so the first step is to make sure that our NGX server is running. So for this we shall apply the command sudo systemctl status NGX. We come to know that our NGX server is active and running. One more thing, we can also check it with another command like this command. The second command is the sudo servers NGX status. When we shall apply this command, we come to know that our NGX server is running. We are checking this status of the NGX so that we can configure the configuration file for the front end of our microservice architecture. In the next step, first of all, we shall create the configuration file in the NGX. My configuration file name is dev-memnx.gg. This is the name of my file that I am creating in the NGX. So when we apply this command, sudo nano is the editor in the Linux, and after that we are creating this configuration file in the site-availables with the name dev.memnx.gg. When we apply this command, we shall get a file with this name like this one. You can see that on the top one we have created the file dev.memnx.gg. After that, enter this value in the configuration file. Like first of all, this is the start from the server. It is listening on 80 by default, and this is the domain name of my front end. And this is the returning at port 301. Moreover, on the second block of the server, it is listening at the 443. 443 is the port on which our HTTPS will start. So after that, again we are giving the domain of the front end. This is the important. In this section we shall give the SL certificate path. This is the cert.pem, and the key.pem is our certification SSL certificates path. In the next slide is we shall write the more code in the same file dev.memnx.gg. So in the next slide, like this one, we are adding this code. We will start from the proxy set header connection keep live from this line in the same file as I mentioned earlier. So after that, when you have applied this command, we shall press the Ctrl O, and after that we press the enter, and for the last one we shall press Ctrl X so that our changes are saved in the configuration file. In the next part, this is the very important step in the configuration of the front end, that we make sure that in this step we shall make sure that our configuration file for the front end has been created. Like we come to this path, sites available. After that we shall apply the command ls. When we shall apply the command sl, ls, we come to know that dev.memonex.gg has been created. So our configuration file is created. After the creation of this file, now we shall enable this site of the front end like this one. In this step, after the configuration and the development of the configuration file, we shall enable it like this one. Enable etc ngx sites dot enabled. We need to enable this enable the site so that we can get it on the internet. So this is the command for the site enabled. For this, sudo ln-s and so on, as you can see on the screen. When you apply this command, it means that our site is enabled, front end is enabled. In order to make sure that our site is available in the sites enabled section, we shall cd to the part site enabled. After that, we shall apply the command ls. When we apply the command ls, we shall get dev.memonex.gg. Site available and a site enabled are reference to each other. So in this case, we have enabled our front end dev.memonex.gg. In the next slide, we shall make sure that all the configuration in our ngx file is good. We shall apply the command sudo ngx.t. When you apply this command, we shall come to know that there is no error in the configuration file. After this, we shall apply the command. As we have makes the changes in the configuration file on the ngx, we shall apply the command sudo systemctr reload ngx. This command will make sure that all the changes are up in the ngx server. So after this, now this is the section where we shall configure our front end on the Cloudflare. When you log in on the Cloudflare in your account, you will come to know that there is in the DNS section, there is a record section. In the record section, now we are configuring our front end on the Cloudflare so that our front end is available on the net. Now, when we click on the record section, we shall see the interface like this one. In this interface, this is the record section. In this interface, you will click on the add record. You will click on the add record button, as we are configuring our front end on the Cloudflare. When you click on this button, add record, you will see this interface. Again, in the record section, this interface, the first column is the type. There are two types normally. One is when there is a type A, we shall give the IP address of our server, of our hosting server. Another type is the CNAME that we shall give in case of Kubernetes on the Azure cloud. In the coming lectures, I shall also explain the Kubernetes on the Azure Kubernetes, and we shall use CNAME for this. For the time now, we are using the A type. After that, we shall give here the name of our application, and after that here we shall give the IP address of our hosting server. Like in the next slide, you can see that in the next slide, because our primary domain is the memonex.gg, so we shall add a identifier for our front end, as you can see in the next slide. In the next slide, you can see that we have added in the first text box, we have entered the dev. After that, we have entered the IP of our hosting server. After adding the IP of the hosting server, we shall click the save button. Now our front end has been entered on the Cloudflare, and it is available on the browser like this one. This is the front end of my website, in which when I write the domain of my front end, which is dev.memonex.gg, we shall get the site of our application. So this is the end of the part 7. We have started very from the configuration of the web server and of the hosting machine, and after that we have also prepared the Docker file as well, and moreover all the configuration we have also set up the ports for our application that we need for our application in the microservice architecture. And in the next series I shall explain the Kubernetes, very important in the IT industry. So meet you in the next lecture. Wish you good luck for your future.